Hello Footbaggers, I've been asked by some newer players how it is that I mod my lavers, so I thought I'd make a short video showing how. So what I have here is the Rod Laver Twill, which is modified exactly the same as you would modify Rod Laver Mesh, which is what most people get. Okay, so what I've done here to the toe area on my Rod Lavers is I have cut off the first eyelet. After I separated this surface and this surface from the toe by cutting up that little box of stitches, I cut off this first eyelet. Let me see, I've done here. So I want you to notice a couple things about cutting off that first eyelet. I stayed away from the second eyelet as far as I could, and there's a stitch that runs right here. I stayed as far away from that as I could as possible as well. If you stay away from the second eyelet, if you stay away from this stitch here, it will save the structural integrity of your shoe, and it will help it stay stronger. Okay, so I've cut off that first eyelet on the toe. Now something else I've done is I've removed the outermost surface of the shoe. What I did was I made a centimeter cut right along here through the first layer, but not the second. Then I stuck a butter knife in here and pushed it all the way over through here to separate the two materials. Then I cut with scissors along this stitch here, and the bottom, and then I took that layer off, and I was left with this nice cottony layer right here that we see underneath. And that's a good grippy stalling surface, and it gets nice and soft when you break your shoes in. Okay, so I've done cuts here, and I cut that surface off. So those are the main cuts I made. Now some people also choose to do what's called a bracha cut, which I have not done. But they cut a rectangle out right along there. And that is because this part of the shoe here restricts their ankles. Now it doesn't restrict my ankles, so I don't cut it. But if this part, like when you try to do clipper, you feel a pinch here and you feel like this is restricting your ankle, then you would cut this piece off. Oh, you can't see when I do that, but you'd cut this rectangle off right there. Anyway, so let's move on to lacing. This is how I lace my Rod Lavers, and this is the same that you could do with your Rod Laver mesh or leather or G-unit, but this is how I do mine. Okay. So we've cut off eyelet number 1 from the bottom. So here's eyelet number 2 from the bottom, here's number 3. So let's go into number 3 from the outside, like this. Okay. And then we want to grab both pieces in one hand, like this, and then pull them together, because you want them to be the same length. And then we want to make sure that the laces are on this side. Okay, so it looks like this so far. Then we cross, and we lace normally. And I'm still going out from the inside. Okay. Cross and lace normally again. Okay, and now we've come up to the eyelet that is, oh wait, nope, not quite yet. One more. And then I will say what I was going to say. Okay. So we've come up to the eyelet that is second from the top. There's the top one, and then there's second from the top. We want to make sure we're coming, after we cross one more time, cross, okay, we want to make sure we're coming out of that. So here's me coming out after we've crossed. Now on the same side, we come down to the hole where we started, same one, put it in there. Which with these fat laces is a bit of a challenge. Okay, so we're on the same side, and we've done that. Okay, now we want to come out on the same side of the one here that's second from the bottom, and I've cut off the first from the bottom, all on the same side. Okay, now we want to go back up to the top, and let's do that on the other side. Second eyelet from the top, down on the same side, and through. Okay, and then on the same side without crossing, back out. And now we look like this. I realize that is a bit confusing because of all the different pieces down there, so let's tighten these up a little bit. Okay. So now we're coming down, we are pulling the walls back from the bottom. Now let's go all the way back up to the top and back in. Okay, and now our laces look like that. And they pull our toe walls back like this and get them out of our way. And then we have this handy dandy little loop on the tongue. Now that we've come up to the top eyelet, we want to go through that and out the other side with both laces. One, and here's the other. Through the hole in the tongue, out the other side. Okay, so the laces start here, lace normally to here, go down and through on the same side and back up, which pulls the toe walls back. They come up here, they cross, and they go out the other side. So, I hope that is not too confusing. If you have any questions for how I did that, and that didn't make sense, let me know, or send me a picture on Modified of what you did, and you know, maybe that'll be just as good as what I did. I don't know. There's definitely a million ways to do it, but that's how I do mine. I think that's some of the best modifications and the one of the better ways to lace it, and that's just my opinion. So if you trust it, maybe you want to do your shoes that way too. So good luck.